Are you looking for a new game for family game night? Then you want to check out 5 Minute Dungeon. Find out why. Coming up. How's it going, everybody? PJ here from the Awareness Module, where we are bridging the gaps between life and education. On this channel, we discuss how to influence young minds so that they can find success not just in their classrooms, but ultimately in their lives. If that sounds appealing to you, make sure to hit that subscribe button and don't forget to check the bell so you get all the updates. Now let's get into 5 Minute Dungeon. You have got to get 5 Minute Dungeon for your family game night. This game is fantastic, fast-paced, and super duper fun. As it says here on the box, it's the most fun you can have in 5 minutes, and I would wholeheartedly agree. If you are interested in other family games, make sure to check the card above. There's more games in this family game night series that I think you should really check it out if you're interested in family game nights. Let's talk about 5 Minute Dungeon. 5 Minute Dungeon, the best way to describe it is it's a race against time, cooperative dungeon crawler. What does that mean? Well, anyone familiar with games such as Munchkin or Dungeons and Dragons, it's a very simplified version of traditional fantasy type games. The premise of the game is you're trying to get to a boss monster, and there's various doors that you need to open in the dungeon in order to get to that boss. So basically how it works is you flip over a card, that card is a monster, and it will have various symbols on that card, and you need the cards that match those symbols in order to defeat that monster. And all of the traditional fantasy characters are represented here. So for example, a wizard, the wizard character has more scrolls in their deck of cards. There's a fighting character or a barbarian, it has more swords in its deck of cards. And there's a thief character and it has more jumping cards in its deck. There's other cards in the deck too as well, but it just has more of that symbol. There's also specialty cards, so each character will also have some special ability cards that will come up in the deck too as well. And you're racing against time to defeat these monsters. So you're frantically just throwing down cards, trying to defeat each monster as quickly as you can, and then ultimately defeating the boss at the very end. It is a race against time, like I said, and there's a really fantastic app that comes with it that is basically a 5-minute counter, and it has this guy's really funny, sort of deep, bassy, movie trailer type voice in it as he's counting down the time and letting you know how much time is left, and he says something kind of funny as the game starts too as well.
Does anybody know what this button does? Oh, it starts the game. Now, for some of my favorite words. Pony, banana, sprinkles. Back so soon? Let's dive into this wet and wild dungeon. 3, 2, 1, go.
There's another element to the game. Gives you some good action music so you can get into it. It's a super fun game and very, very exciting. The only thing that I would say about this game that I didn't really like about, especially it is basically in that app, is he says in there at one point, because one of the bosses is a giant baby, and so he says,
all right, listen up, team. We're going into that dungeon and we're killing that baby.
To some, that might be hilarious. To others, killing babies is not really funny at all. So but that's the only thing that he says in that app that would be kind of like, oh, that's kind of inappropriate. But again, it depends on your family. It depends on how you view things. You don't need the app in order to play the game. You can use any timer you want. You can put on your own epic music. You don't really need to use the app. Other than that, this is a family-friendly, super fun and exciting game. And what I like about it is it's kind of educational too as well, in the sense that it's processing time. You're working together as a family and you're processing information very, very quickly. And what makes this game tricky is as the time's going down and you're getting more frantic, you often put cards that you don't need to put down. So you might put too many cards on a monster near the beginning of the game, and when you get to the end of the game, you've run out of cards. You don't have the cards that you need in order to defeat the monsters that are near the end of the game. So you kind of have to be very conscious of what cards you're playing, but there's a time limit, and you got to do this quickly. Game is absolutely fantastic. I don't think it has a whole lot of replayability. When you look at games like Flashpoint, which I reviewed, it's up in the card there above. Flashpoint is a game that you could play over and over and over and over again. I don't think this is one of those games. I think this is a game that you buy, you have and play a lot of for maybe 2 or 3 years, and then maybe get rid of it on Craigslist. But I think it's a game you really got to try. I think it's a game really worth having on the shelf for a couple of years. It's very simple and easy to understand. It's great if new people are playing games with you that aren't really game type people. Anybody can play this game because it's very, very simple to understand. So that's 5 Minute Dungeon. Make sure to check it out. It's definitely worth your look. If you're, again, interested in other games that I've reviewed in this series of family game nights, take a look at the card above. I'll put a link to it there again. And if you're interested in instructions on how to actually play this game, although I don't really think you need it, it's pretty simple, but there's up in the card here too as well, there's an instruction on how to play. 5 Minute Dungeon is a must-have for family game night. Make sure you pick it up, check it out. If you want to know of other videos in general that I do here on the awareness module, I'll link them to the side there. Please subscribe. There's a lot of great information that I have, and I just, I've been working with kids for so long, and I just want to give you the most amount of value possible so that you can raise your kids to be successful in their lives. And I think games are a fun way to teach them some valuable skills. So thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.